welcome to the Spiritual Speakeasy, where the spirits are always served, the bar's always open, yada, yada, yada. That was not in the correct order, but anymore, it just doesn't matter, does it? Hey, Bethany.
They show up.
They just show up. And whether the bar's open or not, or they're being served or whatever, they show.
They're here to party.
They are here for the show. Sometimes I think it's just an inside seat to go, surprise. This is my sister Bethany. Whoop, just about lost my shirt on that one. My sister Bethany, she is the owner of the Guided Key in Jefferson City, Missouri. She does Reiki and holistic healing, metaphysical work, and yeah, she's a psychic, but she doesn't think she is. Sisters in crime.
I do think I am. I just try to leave people alone and
man
do their healing.
Yeah, taking over other people's healing journeys is not recommended.
You're right. I have a different perspective on that than some people in the industry.
Anymore, my perspective is to walk away. Like, if it, and I hate to say this, but if it smells like a train wreck and it looks like a train wreck, it's probably going to be just that.
Yeah, and you're not wanting to take that on.
If the person's willing to work their way out of it, I will gladly go and walk with them.
Yeah.
If they're not willing to do 50% of the work, I'm just going to go like, here's the number. When you're ready to climb out, I'll be there when you get out of it.
Yeah. There has to be an investment in yourself. You have to invest in yourself because otherwise you're not going to get there. It's just, It's going to be a backwards paddle. And, you have to be able to take those steps forward. Otherwise it's just going to be a sinking motion. I can only help people with their own process and usher them forward. It's never a carrying process for this practice.
Did you start out that way? Because I know I did, right? Like I know I started out carrying people fucking on my back.
Oh, and I was sick, right? I was sick. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Because you're losing yourself, and you don't know how to balance that energy, and you're instead of how the real Reiki process of allowing the flow to go, you're trying to do this almost infusing of process, which isn't even a real thing, in the process of what we do. It's not the real thing. So, it's whenever your ego starts to swing in the wrong direction, I think that's when that starts to happen. But when you get further into practice and you start to understand the work and the meaning and the value of the work, I think that's also when the balance starts to happen. You start to truly understand the feeling and the balance of what it truly means to release that kind of control over the session, over the person that you're working with, and instead it becomes a different process of the transference of the flow. So that growth happens with time, just like any other practice, any other profession.
Right. I think we have to learn boundaries and with ourselves to know how far to go and what you're willing to do.
Yeah.
And understand that
I was just talking, gosh, I guess it was yesterday with someone about there's someone else in the community who is very, very respected for her psychic skills and her ability to with people in a healing capacity. And the comment to me was, she's had 30 years to get to that point where she's been building her reputation and her confidence in her practice. Because my feedback was, I still have a lot of vulnerability, and I still have a lot of, as you mentioned, I don't believe in myself yet. There's a lot of vulnerability there, but it comes with time, right? And just
it comes with time.
Talking about the practice of doing things the right way, it just comes with time. Yeah.
Right.
And
it's not just vulnerability though. Like, I think it's always knowing that. I think there's a difference in self-assuredness and also knowing that the Spirit's going to kick your ass and show you what you need to see at any given minute. And so you've got to be ready. Hey, thanks for joining us. I think you've got to be ready at any given minute to be able to go, stop, wait a minute. Maybe I was as far along as I thought I was, but maybe I need to take some steps back, or I missed something, or now it's time to go back in the past and correct something that I've corrected 150 times, but maybe I needed to do it another 150 before I get it the right way, or at the level it needs to be. We just keep
a lot of that comes from influence from the past, right? Where we're trying to purge ourselves from old convictions and old ways of practice. And we're still learning lessons, and we're still learning that maybe we don't really accept the practices that we thought we knew. Teachings are that we begin to believe things. Family influences, friend influences, these are all things that heavily weigh on our lives and start to sometimes backpedal us. We have to remember that we have to just stay strong in our convictions sometimes.
And I've noticed a couple of things before we get into our topic tonight. I've noticed a couple of things like online, and I don't know if it's, a lot of people say, oh, it's moon phases, or it's the planetary alignment, or it's whatever. And sometimes I think it's just fake ass people. Okay. A snake is a snake, and there's mean people, and there's happy people, and there's all kinds of people out there. But when people set boundaries, people get pissed. When practitioners who charge, by the way, or don't charge, and it doesn't really matter, but those of us that have schedules that people book, and they book time, I can choose who I'm going to work with and who I'm not, as can you. And not everybody gets a slot, because, and oftentimes at first you might get the slot, but then when I recognize and I tell you, hey, these are the things that you need to do before we set up a next appointment.
Yep.
When I don't hear back from you, it's not my job to chase you.
No.
It's not my job to do the work for you. I gave you a list of studies or homework, and it's usually pretty easy at first. But if you can't even follow through and text me to set up an appointment because this is too much or this is too hard. That's exactly
the mindset that I have too, because, much like you, it's a quality of your mindset. It's a quality of care approach. I can't continue to go through the hamster wheel. I also can't watch people do it.
Oh man, that's a patience thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm terrible with that. Like my heart, like I either go one way or the other. I am a complete bitch about it. And it's like, God damn, look, you screwed that up. Or it is oh my God, now I've got to save this person and I can't watch this. And this is a train wreck and I need to help them out. And then the whole pacifist part of me that wants to jump in and save the world does not.
That's why I love building relationships with people, and it works so well that way. So anyway, let's get on topic. We've got a great segment for tonight, or a few segments for tonight.
I clear my throat on that one. Have a sidebar dialogue. So I have somebody here, JD Gray, like, okay, you're Spanish, and I can help you online, or I can help you with things, but you need to speak English, and you can DM me and tell me what's going on. But a public forum, I don't want to get into that. I think what you said was, please help me. My Spanish is really bad, but I've had Latin. Looks like it could be, please help me. SOS. What up? DM me. Okay, message me. Private, not online. Thanks. And we'll talk about what's going on. But use Google Translate, because that's like, Spanish is not my thing. Okay. Anyway, back to the segments. So I had this topic come up, and I asked Bethany to join me. Too many times we're asked to be a part of things. And this is not against, first of all, here's my public thing. This is not against any group of people that we know or do not know. This is not about future people we will meet or past people we have been around. Nobody, okay? This just hit me like I'm watching Facebook today, and I'm watching TikTok today, and it's been a crazy day, okay? And I've had some people reach out to me that was out there, okay? Like, things are going on, right? How many times in life, Bethany, I'm going to put you on the spot because I'm going to talk about it too. Have you been asked to be a part of something because of your skill set, right? Mm-hmm. People are interested. There's a crowd draw, right? Mm-hmm. Not saying we're going deep to this statement at all. People want you because you're a psychic, or people want you because you have a talent with the singing bowls, or your QHHT, or your Reiki, right? So they reach out to you, they get your card, and they call you up, and they want you to speak at something, or be at something, or play at something. And it's all fun and games. Like, that's what I call like your pumpkin spice and your Harry Potter stuff, like in the metaphysical world. I'm not saying witch, I'm not saying magic, I'm not saying paranormal, any spirit essence section. Until they start figuring out what you do in private, or they start figuring out what you do for spell work, or what you do anytime for your practice. And then they become a little weary. Mm-hmm. Then they talk to people in the community, and people in the community go, oh, blah, 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 blah. And then boom, all of a sudden now you're too dark, or you're too deep, or you're playing in something you shouldn't play in. But it was fun when they hired you. Or if it was fun when whatever. And I watched this play out on Facebook between about 4 different groups of people, none of them related by teams or groups or businesses, okay? Clear across the country, East Coast, West Coast, mid area. And I got thinking about that. So I plugged it into my chat GPT with all my thoughts about that, and formulated the topic tonight, which, they titled it occult versus as tourism, and occult versus transformation. And that's like, I don't even like to think of metaphysical as a cult. It is. Mm-hmm. It is to some degree. It is, but not really. I mean, there's such a broad definition, I think, of a cult. Like a cult, people think it's Satanism only. People think it's Luciferian. They think it's the dark. A cult is
I think a cult gets a bad rap, mm-hmm. when in reality it's just a definition, an explanation, and spirituality gets energy, the good rap of the same exact definition.
Right. Like, it can be so many different things. And why are we assuming that it's good or bad? Like, first of all, until it's happened, it's not good or bad. It's just sitting there, right? Energy is just sitting there, doing its little energy thing that energy does. It's not good or bad until we influence it.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a whole lot of people out there. And this got me thinking too. And that's why I said, don't look at the whole list, because, it's like really long. I went to this festival. It was Witches Night Out, probably 4 years ago, and bought this really cool staff. It's my favorite staff. It's got skulls. It's got bells. It's a really dark, maybe Scandinavian type staff, right? These witch friends of mine make this stuff. And they're now my friends. Somehow in the exchange, and when they rang me up and they ran it through, the first number in the sequence of 4 digits didn't So they dropped like a few $10 bills on the price tag. And I didn't watch the Venmo thing go through. I just accepted, signed, and hit it, right? So they come chasing after me and they're like, hey, we're bad. And, we're not telling you have to do this, but we undercharged you by multiple $10 digits. Would you mind coming back and letting us charge you the right price? And of course I'm going to say, yes, I don't mind. Like, let me come with you because that was, it was an error. It's a fluke. And that's why I fell in love with their stuff and even bought more when I was up there. And one of the comments made when they hugged me when I walked away was, you're one of the real ones. And, this place is full of pumpkin spice witches. And I'd never heard the term pumpkin spice witch before. I thought that was hilarious. I think I'm still laughing about that. It was that many years ago, pumpkin spice. And then I met some Harry Potter witches, which is, they love the whole world of magic. They have the magic cookbooks. They have the wands. They have all the Harry Potter stuff. They have a stuffed owl. They've got the signs above their doors. Like, I can go on and on about these people, and they're going to know who they are by me talking like this. But then you mentioned real craft, and I need to go do an offering of this, and this, because it's this moon. And then they're like, oh, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
We're going to back away from any of that kind of witchcraft.
And the other day it was funny because I had a situation occur where I was sent a 20-minute prayer. Happy full moon, sisters.
Happy full moon.
Chelsea. So they sent me a 20-minute YouTube video on why people of Jesus Christ followers, distance themselves from people who carry demons and attachments. And they sent it to me. And I'm like, wonder if they sent it out in private and it just listed like each individual person and they weren't listed as a group. Or I wonder if that was just like meant for me in general. But man, here's the thing, I was really fucking useful to those people until I was not. Let me say that again. I was really fucking useful.
Yeah, until you're not.
Media useful, name useful, all kinds of useful, right?
Yeah, because they can use you in all kinds of ways. Your face is great, your population that you bring is great. They know this, and they'll use that.
Sure.
Every time.
So
this is what they do.
Because I know this is happening out there to other people, right? And we're staying in our own lane, and we know it's happening to us. But these are the same people that go to, and I'm going to combine everything here for the sake of a podcast and being open for everybody. These are the same people that love all of your haunted locations. They're buying hella tickets to come see us perform and talk to spirits and do our psychic thing and do our readings thing and contact the dead, right? They love our witchcraft aesthetics. Mm-hmm. The vibe. Oh God, I love your vibe. I love your ink. I love your this. I love your that. It looks so cool. And they follow us on our podcasts and they follow us on our web pages, right?
They buy the things off of Etsy. They love the trinkets and the stuff off of Etsy.
Mm-hmm. And they buy from us.
The candle spells.
Absolutely.
The tarot readings.
Social media. If we light a fire and start talking, they get on TikTok, they get on our shows and they watch us, right? Yeah. They subscribe. Yeah. And they love ghost stories. Like they love the paranormal stories. Let's talk about what we saw at such and so place. Mm-hmm. They hire us to do readings. Whoa. Yeah. That to me, that's a little stronger than a pumpkin spice or a Harry Potter. You're entering a different thing when you trust a reader, right? And I'm not knocking any of this stuff, people. This is not when you get.
I'm not knocking any of it either. I'm not knocking any of it either. I'm just
saying at the end.
What my point is there's a bit of hypocrisy in that.
There, for some people, there is,
yeah.
and for
some people,
for some people,
in the difference between what we're seeing or defining here as a tourist and a practitioner, we see that hypocrisy, right?
Because there's people that support us, and just
patriotism,
not to do it does not mean that they don't believe in it, and that's a choice, and I respect that choice 110%. But there are people that want to believe at different levels. And I'm talking about the people like when I look at pumpkin spice, the little witches you buy, and it's fun to go to the witches' night out and dress like that. It's play, it's all pretend, and it becomes very fascinating. It's very fun, and you might collect a few trinkets, but it's mostly pretend, right? It's a thing that's on TV, Hocus Pocus and the Midnight Margaritas and all that great stuff, and my favorite movies ever. But there's some people that live it at that level.
Yeah.
Not saying there's a problem yet.
No.
There's people that live it at that level
and enjoy it, but also don't judge those of us who actually take it to the level of authenticity, where it actually functions at the level where generationally we have operated in authentic witchcraft.
Yes.
And as healers, let me just clarify that point. As healers, because we don't just do spells. Like, that's not the thing. I'm not over here with my witch's cauldron with bubbles coming up. That's not the thing that I do, guys. I have no warts.
That was good.
That's not me. But
no.
I do cast energy and manifestation to help heal the world and to help heal the assholes of the world, because that's what we need. That's the vibration that we need.
That's true. Absolutely. That's true. And we've not crossed the line yet. Nothing is wrong with these things yet. Tourism and people who these lines that we just talked about, the pumpkin spice, the Harry Potter, that all the fun and games end when discomfort begins for some people. Now there's people who just go, I know it's out there, man. I love you guys. I'll hire you for a party, but I'm not doing it myself. Like, there's no way. We're not talking about those people.
No.
We're talking about the people that openly start becoming disgusted at a certain point, rather than just walking away. But again, if you know what the person is, we're talking full disclosure here. Like, if you hire me, if you know me, if you come on my pod and you listen to me for any length of time, you are going to know what I am for and what I am against. You're going to know exactly what I do, and it's not hidden. I've never hidden it in a closet. Like, people hire me out all the time. People want the haunted asylum. People want the witchcraft pretties, the little brooms, the little stuff, the crystals. They want to see the rituals on social media. Shit, look at Draven Damascus, and some of these viewers follow people that on TikTok that I follow, and they follow me. Like, holy shit, we watch the hell out of that. They've got thousands of viewers at a time, right? People want to see that stuff. They want the ghost stories. They want the tarot. They want to book us for readings until they start feeling something that's uncomfortable.
I think the other thing I see too is people want to practice in their own version of spirituality and then judge you for having your version when and call within their version have their own practice
Mm-hmm.
And not recognize it, not acknowledge it. They're not facing their own practice as being practice.
They also aren't accepting the responsibility for the things that they're doing by doing it the way they're doing it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, it's all fun and games until it could possibly come back on me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a thing.
And they're not accepting responsibility for the work that they do against other people.
No, absolutely not. So I ask, people, like, when you're doing the Harry Potter thing and you're hiring out, or here's the other one. I should throw this out here too. It just hit me. Not downing the Christian religion, because I sabotage anything and everything on this podcast, including my own. I find it really interesting when people are thumping Bibles and throwing quotes and accurate quotes, not saying it's not inaccurate for certain Bible forms, but they're throwing things at people that they've hired and they've worked with as family. You work with somebody really, really close, and then all of a sudden, it's okay to pray for a person. I got nothing against that. Like, if you want to say, hey, I want to send some blessings up your way, I'm going to be like, hell yeah, do it. Like, I'm down for that. Bring it on. And I'll send some for you too. That's awesome. We get a good energy flow and go, hopefully, right? And if not, we cancel each other out. But when you know exactly what somebody is and you welcome them to whatever it is you're doing, your fair, your hiring group, your studio, your paranormal group, your TikTok group, whatever it is, right? You invite them into that, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit. And here comes the biblical references, and we got to pray the shit out of you. Where did that come from? Like, we've known each other for a few years now. Like, why all of a sudden you praying the shit out of me? Like,
yeah,
you are part of the fun and games. Like, we've played together. And this is going to sound so much like I'm referencing people that we know, and it's not. This is not at all. This is not
it's
it's
the revelation, no pun intended, of how it gets just brought out sometimes. It's like I can be very, very much, like we were talking about before, I can be everything I need to be for you, and that you need to be for me. And then as soon as I get in and everything is served, everything breaks apart.
Well, yeah. I mean, I love it when I'm sitting there working cards with people, or I've lit the candle and we've got, ITC devices going, electronic communications with spirit, or we've got, a great EVP session going, or something's we're in a fucking ritual someplace, whatever. And then all of a sudden it gets heavy. Like, I'm just like, what the hell? Like, you're either in or you're not in. Like, are you seeking? Some people I know are curious, and they get to that wall where all of a sudden it's that oh shit moment. Like, okay, now I've opened the door and I know too much and I don't like this and I'm going to run and hide.
Yeah. How often do they dark?
I can respect that, man. Just be able to go, man, that was too much for me. Like, that's a line I don't want to cross, and I'm going to be okay. Like, who cares? That's great. I respect that completely. I have friends on the polar opposite of the spectrum. The polar, like, they are out there converting and reverting and transforming people into the heaviest Christians you can imagine right now that were paranormal people. And I love them to pieces. They had the trauma that they had that changed their lives, that instigated, sparked them, whatever word, drove them to the point where they are right now. We've all had our moments that define who we are, regardless of which path we chose, right? Mm-hmm. And I totally respect them for walking the path that they've chosen and exemplifying that path for them. Like, they don't just speak it and then go do what they want to do. They are living what they're preaching. And whether I believe in their religion or believe in their spirituality, man, my heart goes to them because they're living authenticness for them.
Exactly. That's the thing. I believe so passionately too. You've got to be your authentic self, and also struggle with.
Yeah.
I think we struggle so much with that because identity is a hard thing to keep up with, and so authenticity can be hard to keep up with also. So constant pursuit.
And here's the other thing, like, how many people say, I want the truth. I really want to know about this. I want to know about the paranormal. I want to know about the psychic part. I want to know about the energy part. And then you tell them, and that was not what they wanted to hear at all. And now they're damned because you spoke something that was, I don't know, not Christ-like, not biblical, had fire behind it. I don't know.
Yeah, deer in the headlights. Like, well, now what am I supposed to do with that?
Or full revolting, like we just just sickened them, but you knew what we were to begin with.
Yeah.
Didn't you? Or did you really think it was all pumpkin spice and Harry Potter? Like, I think sometimes these people really think it is pumpkin spice and Harry Potter.
Honestly, I mean, the exposure to the types of things that I think we are used to expanding ourselves to is very limited, very limited. And also we don't talk about it openly. It's not like we've had great deals of opportunity to go out and just talk with people about what we do. It hasn't been until the last 2 to 3 years that we have been able to be really publicly vocal about the work that we do. And it is rapidly expanding, which makes me so grateful. But at the same time, it has taken a really long time for us to be able to start to get out in the community and start really being vocal. So I think we're going to continue to see that growth, but at the same time, it's just taken some time.
Until then, though. Until then, we're dealing with these things, and I'm trying through this podcast too, and talking about it, I'm kind of processing too. Like, we all know, hopefully even the people we're dealing with know right and wrong. And a concept, it's a construct, but there are laws out there. What is good and what is evil?
Yeah.
Hang on, I got a comment here I'm gonna post.
Yes, totally.
Chelsea says, I love that you mentioned that witchcraft and spirituality has become trendy. See, yes. Which is the double-edged sword. And that's exactly what we're talking about with the pump. That's a great way to word it. With the pumpkin spice and the Harry Potter levels. And then all of a sudden you're in that oh shit sludge moment where you realize I've either gone way over my head or this is not at all what I expected. And instead of just walking away, flipping the channel, changing the station, it becomes a Bible thumping moment or a preachy moment or a condemnation moment or a, I don't know, thinking the worst about the other person rather than finding a happy medium and letting it go.
You can very much let it go. You can make it a moment of acceptance and just accept the person for their belief and how they approach life and have tolerance. There's that's just a very simple way to handle it. And again, sometimes we overcomplicate things, and it doesn't have to be complicated. It's very simple. You just accept the person for who they are and how they approach life.
I always have thought, sorry, allergies. One of the things that we do as human beings is, especially nowadays, like I'm old, so I've lived through like so many different decades, like there was a time when nobody said, what was your sexual preference? I mean, like, I'm here to talk to you about your clients, or I'm here on the podcast to talk about spirituality. I'm not here to talk about what you're doing in bed or on the table or wherever the fuck you are. Like, that doesn't belong to me. It's not what we're talking about. So why would you bring that into the conversation, right? And I feel the same way about religion. Oftentimes, unless you're hiring a person to do a job, or you're working as a team paranormally or metaphysically or whatever, you don't need to know those things about a person. And if somebody wants to share that, that's them oversharing possibly. And conversations are great, but I'm old school enough that I watch people today go, well, love is inclusive and we're supposed to love everybody and we're supposed to be, like, do no harm. And everybody knows I'm not a fucking Wiccan, so I'll remind those that are just tuning in. And do no harm and all this love and light shit until you disagree with them. Mm-hmm. So my thinking is, why are you telling me all this shit that I may not like about you? If it's on a need to know basis and we're sharing up front. And I think people talk too much. I think people tell way too much of anything that people don't need to know about. What I do behind closed doors is none of your fucking business. Yeah. And what I choose to share about that, I share. But I also should be responsible and respectful enough to know that if you have a difference in opinion, you may drop me like a hot potato, and that's on you.
Yeah.
That's fine. But why bully? Why bully and accost because that person has a different belief system, especially if you knew their belief system coming into the relationship? So it's a whole lot of, like, if you don't believe the way I believe and I can't stand you, why am I going to literally in real life friend you and hang out with you?
Yeah.
If I'm so far right and you're so far left, or vice versa, or, whatever.
It's just not going to be.
Why are we even trying to format a relationship at that point in time? So people need to move on and get over those kind of things. Like, I don't know. It's difficult to me because one of the things we know in the metaphysical and paranormal and spiritual world is truth often destroys certainty. Everything I've believed in has been turned upside down and sidewise and vomited out and shit out. And I mean, it's like, it's not been pretty.
And if you don't get it the first time, you'll get it back.
Go through the blender and you start all over again with that lovely puree of whatever it is. So when we look at that, I think people run back to what makes them feel safe.
Yeah.
Often running their mouth.
Fear.
Fear. We do run to fear.
Fear sends them right back.
So what is, it makes you think, like, in the occult, what is dark and what is not dark, and what is too dark, and fearing the shadow. Like we've talked, and I think you've been on, and we've talked about shadow self and shadow. We've had those conversations. And Carl Jung talks about the shadow, but people misunderstand it. The shadow is not evil.
No, shadow is growth, I think, in most cases. I think
it doesn't have the power yet. It's not come to the surface. We know that. Like, it's not surface yet.
Yeah. I mean, you have to bring it to the surface and use it, unless you recognize it and actually use it. Most people think their shadow is so bad and it's like the nemesis. But in reality, if you can embrace your shadow and recognize it's actually, part of you, and it is who you are at your core.
Yeah.
And if you can start to recognize how to use it, and instead of letting it really take advantage of your life, and find the ways that shadow can really propel you forward. Let that shadow satisfy you. Let it be the momentum for you that you need, and recognize how it brings you strengths. But most people look at that and they think, well, it's just a detriment to me. It's the thing that holds me back, and I'm never going to overcome it. And it's just going to be that thing that is the worst part of me. And that's,
but it's yourself. It's really the true self that's not been acknowledged.
Yeah.
It's your fear, it's your rage, it's your inner child. A lot of times that didn't have a voice before. And when you start listening, it all makes sense, and it all comes together, and then it's beautiful.
Yeah. And the peace, and the comfort that comes when you have that acceptance of self, that comes with that recognition of, this is just who I am.
Right.
Well, I am this person, take it or leave it.
When people start getting close to metaphysical or paranormal, so your spiritual world, let's just call it all spiritual. And I know paranormal is not spiritual as in religious spiritual, but it is spiritful. So yeah, I'm using that term loosely there.
Yeah, I think that's a very accurate way to actually use that, because the when used correctly, I think that's an accurate way to describe it, because you are very spiritual and connected to your higher self in order to do the work.
I think so. I mean, for me, it's hard to separate that. I think too, people realize, like, when they start getting close to those of us that like live the real life, if you will, not a real life, but in the metaphysical, the community we're talking about tonight, that community, when we live that, people start realizing as we start talking and they find out where we go, what tunnels we go down, what rabbits we're chasing, they're like, oh shit, the thing I feared the most is really my own salvation. And I have seen Christians do this more than any other group. They become very burred up and they become very uptight and very upset because now their belief system has been, quote unquote, under attack or threatened. Dude, I've never threatened anybody. I'm based on religion. Shit. I mean, I'm a little bit of everything rolled into one.
Yeah.
So I'm a Heinz 57 plus international. So like, why would I be upset?
I'm not upset about I'm never upset about anybody's choice of religion or what their thoughts are about religion. I do take offense when others get upset about others' religion and try to impose it on others. That's the boundary that I have. And what you're saying with that identity crisis is where a lot of people go, when they hit that spiritual journey in their healing process, and they have that identity crisis. And when you're, I think when you're a tourist type personality, you do get that kind of trinkety approach to life, and you don't take it as seriously. You get caught up in some of the Western medicine approaches, and you start to be analytical and you overthink the things that you should really be doing to heal, your whole self.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you think about, the practice of witchcraft, it's very much the same thing when you have the, how do you call it, the Harry Potter and pumpkin spice witches. I always call them Etsy witches.
The same thing. Same thing.
As you have the pumpkin spice witches, they are not expanding their capacity, right? They don't expand their mind, and their conscious awareness isn't there to be able to really take on the growth that they should be in order to really be part of the true community.
Mm-hmm. Well, and don't you think too, we're brainwashed, like from the very beginning of time, whether it's familial or religiously or indoctrinated in the school systems. There's a line of thought that goes with all of this. And it really is, for the most part, a Christian line of thought, although I'm generalizing hugely with that. Because I think of church and school and family, and they all try to mimic each other anymore. The lines become very strange. But the person starts thinking, wait a minute, it's maybe there's something going on. I'm scared. They realize I'm scared. This scares me, like metaphysical shit, spiritual shit, paranormal shit, whatever. It scares me, right? Maybe I opened the door too far. Maybe I read too much. Maybe I thought it was all like a game or a movie, or it was all like, hocus pocus, all fun with a little black cat and don't light the black candle. And, all these wonderful things that are going to happen, and the big cloud's going to come and people are going to dance. It's going to be a musical and unicorn shit. It's going to be great. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And they look in the mirror and then they realize, oh shit, I am now very uncomfortable. Right. And I think realization of what is real with a capital R and T with a capital for capital truth.
Mm-hmm.
It scares the fuck out of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they have no more comfort. Once that door is open, people, you cannot unsee it. You can close the door and you can close the window, and you can go, at this point in time, guess what? It's staying right here in a box. And how long is that elephant going to stand there in the middle of the room in the polka dot pajamas until somebody says something? When
you start seeing, first of all, I think when you start seeing results of work, that's eye-opening, right? You can't go back from that.
No.
And then when you start seeing the work other people do, and you start to really get exposed to the depths of other people's work, that's even more eye-opening.
Oh yeah.
And that can be really scary. It can be really intimidating. And it can also be really frustrating to try to keep up with on some levels. If you are going to be, if you are going to try to scale up, if you will. So, some may just not have the capacity or the skill set, to do it.
And pushing boundaries, like, I'm not saying, I think boundaries should stay firm. There are some areas, like, I think we all have to have these lines that we say, I will never, ever, 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 ever cross that line. And I think, and then we cross those lines too sometimes. But I think there are certain principles that I will never cross. I mean, there's just a foundation level that I personally am not willing to do. My soul will never be sold. There's just certain things that I've come close and I've bartered, but to sign that line, there are some things that I will not ever offer for, right? My one rule is I will never kneel to anything. That's a Judaism. And have I in the past? I have broken that a couple times. Damn it. I have broken it, but I've unbroke it as quickly as I broke it. I think people need to understand that, first of all, if you get too close to an open door, you're going to transform. You're going to see things you can't unsee. You're going to have a different belief system, whether it's a positive or a negative belief system. I'm not here to judge what's positive or negative. It's going to change, right? It's transforming. It's not damning, damnationing, it's not damning. Yeah, it was the right word. It came out of my mouth.
Yeah, it's damning.
When you talk and you have to keep talking, sometimes things fly out and you go, what? Every transformation requires a surrender of some form of information, thought, belief system, or yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every initiation requires a sacrifice of some type. That doesn't mean go kill a goat. It means you have to give a piece of yourself for every level you reach.
Yeah.
Give a piece of something that means something to you. There's an energy exchange. That's what that means.
Yeah, and I think people don't get that point, that it's an energy exchange of some point, of some part.
You're paying for a class. You're paying for the knowledge. You're paying for a certificate, right?
Exactly.
None of us think anything about going, I'm going to get the third level in this, so it costs me $800 and I'm going to pay this and I'm going to get that, right? What are you going to give me in return? You're going to teach me the skill I'm paying the money for. There's a price to be had for everything.
Yeah.
So with this knowledge that we're transcending and we're becoming stronger in our belief system that may or may not be Harry Potter pumpkin spice, because it isn't. We are paying a price for that. There's an energy exchange.
Yeah.
So when you feel
there's an energy exchange for everything, right?
Yes. So sometimes it's giving up that fear. Sometimes it's walking through that door with your big girl pants on and your superhero cape and going, okay, this is going to be okay, right? And if it's not for you, then close the door, but don't poo-poo the information that you just got when that door was open and you were watching. Because you chose to have that door open and watch.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot talk tonight. I swear to God. Every evolution requires death. I mean, look at it. Every time we give up a thought process and we gain something new, that's the death of our old self.
Yeah.
It's rebirth in a different realm with a different thought process, with a different knowledge base, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So we have to die to be reborn each time.
And I always point out to my clients that rebirth is just going to bring you that next level of lessons, right? So be ready. It doesn't end.
It never ends. Everybody wants the veil to be lifted. I like this one. Everybody likes the veil to be lifted until it lifts and they can see.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Until they can see the truth.
Show me, teach me, open the door. I want to see. I want to talk to. I want to know. I want to be scared, right? I'm looking for that adrenaline rush. I want to see if this is real. I want to see if the movie shit's real. That's at the lowest level. It really is. For me, that's the lowest level. Oh, look, they're cute little hocus pocus witches. I would really like to be a witch. Can we have a tea party and you do some magic? Oh, here we go. Let me set the rabbit loose for you. Curiosity is very easy. We're curious. What do we know about curiosity? It killed the cat. It really didn't. He got away 8 times, maybe 9.
Maybe 9.
9. Consequences are hard. I mean, are we talking about, fucking around and finding out, or fucking around and following through? Because those are 3 different things. And people don't get that. They want to play until the consequences come.
Yeah. And not even just that, the consequences come, and then the the actions behind that, there's no readiness for anything that comes with that. There's so much change in behavior that's needed. Otherwise, you're just going to go right back into your old self. And especially because a lot of times you just don't have any support of what you're trying to evolve into, because most of the time we're not just born into the witch lifestyle that we are.
We forget. Our minds have been erased. We forget. Yes. We got to start over again.
You grow into it, and in time you are established in who you are. And a lot of times people fall off in your life and don't support you. And you have to become really stable in your authenticity about it.
Yeah.
So,
and commit. Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing is, once you commit, you're committed. I mean, you can change your mind. Changing your mind is part of the knowledge base. And how many times, just in the time we've known each other, how many times have we both shifted?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we're not the same people when we first met.
No.
Neither one of us were at all the same.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You have to be able to let go of that and change as you need to grow with the knowledge that you have.
Yeah. I'd be miserable if that were the case.
And that's, here's the thing. When I say, like, we take off the masks, right? What has to die? Our old beliefs, our fears, our stories, our old masks, our old certainty, all that shit you have to be able to flush that. And that doesn't mean that you're becoming something bad. Here we go with the good and the bad. I'm shifting into something maybe better, maybe stronger, maybe not, maybe a bad choice here and there, but that's okay, because even the bad choices throw us opportunities to grow and learn at a phenomenal level that we would not have reached had we not made a bad choice. And so bad is relative, right? Maybe it was the choice we had to make to learn what we had to learn.
Yeah. Then as long as you're going with the flow of the universe, your bad choice may be exactly the choice that you were supposed to be making, because it's the choice that took you in the direction that you're supposed to end up in.
Right.
The perspective that I always have, because sometimes a bad choice is just the choice that you're supposed to be making.
Right. And sometimes it's an opportunity to go one way or the other and see where it takes you.
Yes, that's exactly my point. Is it's just where you're supposed to be going.
So why bad? Like, why call it a bad choice? ChatGPT made this comment, and I thought this was a really cool comment, because growth is subtraction as much as it is addition.
See?
And I thought, isn't that the real thing? Like, we lose people and we're like, God damn, I just lost another friend set, or I just lost this, or I lost that. Dude, they came when they needed to come and they left when they needed to leave. Let it go. We're not supposed to be super attached to anything in our lives, and we are. We're humans. We do. But at the same time, if it wasn't meant for us to hang on to and it left, okay, bye.
Yeah, if it's supposed to come back, it's going to come back.
Yeah.
If you're supposed to be with it, it's going to come back to you. And you just have to be optimistic if it is something that you want, that you're going to have it. And the manifestation process is such that if you do truly desire, you're going to get it.
Yeah, that's true. That's really true. And like, I think the difference in the different levels of people, and the people that, first of all, the kind of not again, if you still are thinking that we're against Harry Potter and pumpkin spicers, we're not. That's not the point. That's great. Stay in your lane and have a great time with it, and blessings and whatever. It's the people that try to cross and then they decide that we're the bad guy because we went too far and it scared them. And we're not saying you got to come to our side. It's not like the dark side has cookies. We're just saying let us be. If we're too far,
I don't even bake.
Yeah, see, I don't think it has anything to do with we went too far. It's you stopped where you stopped and we kept going. And is that a good thing or a bad thing? Like, I don't think you can attach a positive and negative or a good and bad word to that. It's just, it is what it is. And we make it what we choose to make it. And I think the whole thing can be very non-judgmental if you let it be.
Yeah,
like, why?
100%. 100%. And I love that we are, we on the dark side typically have this perspective of acceptance and non-judgment and are always or almost always the ones being judged.
It's a thing, right? But knowledge is not always what people want.
Right.
And I think, I think it's funny. I had somebody come at me, and I've been thinking about this for a couple of days now. I had somebody on media come after me, and this happens like all the time. You get these dumbasses that say dumbass things, but then I ponder them because it's like trying to make sense of that, and it was somebody, and I had flipped a TikTok video about Luciferianism, and they came after me, and they're like, Lucifer is the prince of lies. And I'm like, did it ever occur to you that when you just don't like the truth that's being spoken? Like, I find that in my business every single day.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I'm lying to you.
Nope.
It's that you don't like what it is you're hearing. And then later you come back and tell me, oh my gosh, this was exactly right. See, I didn't lie. You just didn't like what I had to say.
Yeah.
And there's people that care about you that are going to say things you don't like, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean that it's a lie. And knowledge is power. Whether you agree or disagree with it, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
The classes in healthcare that I took, like the psychology classes, it worked with everything except for chemistry and geometry. I failed both of those horribly. I did not have that kind of brain at all. But the ones in psychology and things that I had the most struggle with accepting, I think is a good word. Like, I disagreed with a lot of the stuff in the books, were the classes I did the best in because I disagreed with them so, fiercely that I learned what I was going against really well so that I could speak against it. And I think that's, part of knowledge, right? Like, I didn't like the information, but I sure used it.
Yeah. You understood it, so you could
understood it really well, and
argue against it.
So, think about it in terms of that too. It's not that it's a lie; it's somebody else's perspective, and knowledge is power. And if you know that people think that way, and you don't, there you go.
Yeah.
Like, we should do those things. The other thing, before we close, because we're getting really close. Well, actually, we're kind of over time, but not by much. 4 minutes. Not bad. We're not doing bad.
We get to everything?
We did.
Oh my gosh, we did.
We did. So here's the thing, symbols. I wanted to talk, this is another thought I have with this. I cannot tell you, and again, God help me, I'm not referencing anybody in this thing. I'm not, I swear to God, I'm not even family members, and I'm going to throw that out there. I'm really not. It's really fun at Yule time to carve like Nordic, ruins into things. And it's really fun to make and give wands over the holidays and for special occasions.
Yeah.
Gods help us if, they have the ruins on them too. We hang them on the trees or the wreaths or the whatevers. But then when someone like me comes up and says, oh, do you know what that means? That's really cool that you've got that protective feministic symbol on your tree.
Oh my gosh.
Boom.
So on my...
We don't do that in our house. We don't practice it.
I have my Facebook page for the Guided Key. And one of the things that I've started doing is putting out information about things like that, like what Yule means and how there are so many traditions that Christianity piggybacks off of in their holidays that people celebrate and where those actually originate from. And so this past Christmas season, I put out a publication about what Yule and all of the, different things that went along with it, and celebrations that went along with it, and what they meant, and the things that we do also in society that are traditional, that came from witchcraft.
Oh my gosh.
And I will tell you, I got a ton of views and like no comments.
Yeah, that's always good.
Because nobody's willing to accept it that this is a real thing, that these things, that the lights, that the tree, that the wreath, that the decorations on the table, everything comes from celebration of witchcraft origination and festivities that are, related to something that is tied to paganism. Yeah.
It's crazy. A couple of things my son said the other day. We were driving in the car, and I had my son, and I think we were picking up a motorcycle. We've been doing that a lot lately. And he said to Colton, he said, that's my grandkid, his son. He says, "You know what the definition of witchcraft is?" And of course, my grandson gives this amazing definition about the transformation of energy from one influence to another. And it was a brilliant definition. He listened to me. And Matt goes, "No, you made that a lot harder than what it's supposed to be." And Colton goes, "Okay, it's changing things." And my son goes, "No, it's science that has not been proven yet." And I'm like,
I do always like the way Matt justifies things and comes up with things.
Science that has not been proven yet. But, think about the magic of the stars and the sky and the God stories and all the different things that people use to explain things that happened that they couldn't. And now we scientifically know, right? Yeah. So really, he's not wrong. Like obviously, I'm transmuting or I'm manifesting from this point to this point. It just scientifically hasn't been proven how we're moving now.
I don't even need science though at this point. I've done so many hypnosis sessions to know what's up.
We're learning fast, right? Chelsea says, "I think if people admit Christian holidays begin as pagan holidays, they would have to wonder what else is untrue in their belief system. And that's really hard for people." And that's what this whole thing's about. It really is. It is what this whole thing is about, is like the difference between the levels of beliefs between your pumpkin spicers and your Harry Potters, because the Harry Potters really do to some degree want to believe, but they're scared to death to open the door.
Yeah.
Where religion has taught them not to open the door, which is still a fear panic based thing, right? That we're not supposed to open the door. We're not supposed to have knowledge. Clear down to Inky opening the door when he came back down to the world and gave humans knowledge so that they at least stood a chance to make it through the floods and the wars. Knowledge. It's always been it's always been the victim in the spiritual story. It's always been the bad guy. It's always been the one that thwarted everything, is the one that came to earth for the basis of knowledge. Mm-hmm. In every religion.
Yeah.
Why is knowledge so bad? Weren't we supposed to have knowledge? Not according to the original stories. But the Christians, the worst.
It's always sought after.
Huh?
Yeah, but it's always sought after.
It is.
Yeah.
So tonight's a blue moon.
Yes.
Once in a blue moon. We're letting go of things, right? This is the time to let go and release again. Become who it is that you need to become, that you really are trying to elevate to.
Yes.
So I want to leave this. This comes from, it's a power prayer. It was reposted by a friend of mine, I believe somebody by the name of Maz, M-A-Z, on TikTok. I'll give them full credit for it. If it didn't come from them, it came from somebody they stole it from. So just follow the trail back. My bad, right? Long trail there. I want to offer this out to people. And if you're not a ceremonial person and you're a Christian and you want to bow off at this point, click leave. Bye. Have a good life. Love you. Whatever. Thanks for dropping it. But I want to offer this to everybody before we close. With the blue moon tonight, I now cancel, collapse, and dissolve every contract, agreement, and energetic tie that was formed in confusion, fear, survival, or distortion. Anything that has access to me without my full conscious consent has fed on me, watched me, or interacted with my path now loses access. What is not mine is removed. What is taken is returned. It's now clean, whole, and undistorted. My field is now closed to manipulation. My life is now closed to any interference. The honor in me remains, and I will honor that honor within myself. So mote it be.
So mote it be.
I thought that was a really nice prayer, manifesting, whatever you want to call it. In my words, I kind of consider those prayers to the higher spiritual forces to cut those ties for me and help me out.
Yeah, that was really powerful.
I liked that. I don't often steal things from other people's TikToks, but that was stealable, and I did. So there. And I also reposted it for that person and sent it because I think it's a really cool release.
Yeah, that was nice. Really
Any
nice.
last words? Any last thoughts?
No. Well, first of all, thank you for having me again. I always love being here.
Thank you for being
on. We always have something to talk about. That's for sure.
You
do. And I think first of all, I would always welcome anybody into the practice, and I think that it's important for people to be seeking their authenticity always. And the thing I would encourage everyone to do is always be accepting and non-judgmental of where anybody might be in their journey.
And ask questions. We will always, most of us, if they're not authentic, they may not answer questions. But most of us really are living.
Most of us are willing and able to ask or to answer questions of some sort and want to, yeah. And it is helpful because there's times that we may need to dig a little deeper and help, ourselves to help you. So yeah, don't sit in reserve. Help yourself grow by reaching out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important because sometimes we don't have the answers. And when people ask, there's been a lot of questions like, that's how I actually got into demonology, was people started asking me questions, and I had had a few episodes myself where I had been jumped by things and met things. And so I started doing research, and it completely took me into this other field because of that. And then, the whole spiritual, your Japanese, your Taoism, your Buddhism versus, and Christianity too, versus demonology. Like there's a whole introspection there of acceptance and shadows and different things. So learning because of one person's question, I went down a whole lifetime of rabbit holes, so ask away. And if we don't know, we're certainly going to try to find out for you.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah, 100%.
Thank you so much, Bethany, for being on. Shout out to the guided key and Bethany Noble, who's a Reiki
Reiki master.
in Jefferson City, Missouri, but she also does online work for some of that. So hook up with her if you're in need of an appointment. Shout out to my good friend online for TikTok, the Unbreakable Flight Nurse, Chris, who we are still trying to get on podcast, but he's a flight nurse. And like most nurses, he's overworked and underpaid and has a great book out about management in healthcare. So look that up on TikTok. Unbreakable Flight Nurse, as well as Draven Damascus, who's a dear friend of mine on Facebook, who's working with Hecate and doing all kinds of great things out there, very much against pedophilia and pedophiles as well. Panda. So look us up and support us for that. And I think that's all I have tonight.
All right. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you, guys. Love you. We would not be where we are today if it was not for you guys supporting us on podcasts. Keep the podcast way going. The Spiritual Speakeasy, where the bar is always open. Spiritual spirits are always served on Supernatural Inc.'s Network, LLC. Thank you, guys. Love y'all. See y'all on the flip-flop. Bye.